Hello. Today we're going to be looking at something called selection sort. From there, we will move into another kind of sorting algorithm called insertion. And from there, we will move into a third one called merge. All three of these are fair game for the AP exam in different ways. Selection sort and insertion sort will probably show up in code on the AP exam. I don't really know that, but that would be the kind of thing that they might show. They might show you a mystery method, say it does something, and you have to figure out what it is. So you will need to know these rather well. The last one, merge sort, is significantly more difficult to understand than the other two. So it shows up in the AP exam, but more in a theoretical way. We'll talk about that a little bit more another time. But anyways, make sure that you really get this selection sort into your head, because I think while it is easier than the other two, I would say so anyway, it is something you really do need to get, so that way you can feel comfortable with the next one. And then this one's absolutely crucial for the next one, because it's actually going to be inside this method too. So let's go ahead and begin with selection sort. Selection sort is honestly kind of simple. It really can just be divided into two pieces. One piece where you are finding the minimum value in an array or list, and another piece where you are swapping elements within that list. So starting with the find minimum, this is a pretty easy algorithm to write out. You just simply start with some kind of minimum value, which is going to be equal to the first element in the array. Then, for all of the values in that array, and I'm just writing this in pseudocode, so you can translate this into Java. But for now, it's just going to be in pseudocode. So for each element in there, anytime that we find an element that is less than minimum, we just change minimum. Now, a quick note before I go on, because we actually finished the find minimum already. While I did say for each value in there, if that value is less than min, all that stuff, you might actually have a different thing where you instead say minimum location or minimum index equals 0, and then if x is less than, if whatever number for the index of x is less than the the value at the minimum index, change the minimum index. So any of these could really be indexes instead. It just depends on how your algorithm is written. But this would just be the idea, the concept. So moving on to the swap. Swap is just 3 lines, but it is 3 very important lines. Let's say I start off with a temporary variable named x. I say x is equal to one of the 2 elements I'm swapping. Then I say set that 1 equal to the other element. Lastly, I set that second element equal to the temporary one. I need that temporary variable in here because if I just did 1 equals 2, 2 equals 1, all I would have done then was duplicate the value of 2, because 2's value would be in both variables at that case. So what I have to do is use this temporary to save the value of 1 before I change it, so that way I can still access it later on. So those 3 lines, mixed with those 4 lines, are really what you need for selection sort. Because after that, as long as you can do these 2 things, find the minimum value in an array, and then swap it, you can do the following. Let's say I have this list here, and it's just 2, 1, 3, 4. All right. If you can tell that this is not in order, well, congratulations. Next, you can notice first I can find the minimum value, which is that one. Then I can swap it with the very first element so that I no longer have a 2 there and a 1 there. Instead, now I have a 1 here and a 2 here. And then excluding this one, I can look at the rest of the arrays. I'm going to move the camera over a little bit so you can just see. I'm going to search that part of the array to find the minimum And it's going to be that one which swaps with itself, and then the other two will follow suit. So that at the end we sort it out. And that is really how the selection sort works. It starts off with a find minimum, and then a swap. And it does that for all elements in the array. That says 4x in ARR. Okay. And that's it. That is all there is to selection sort. But make sure you can get that conceptually and then in a little bit in code.